73. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is 8:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The United States is a charitable giving nation, but that's declining a bit. At least it did in 2018. Giving USA announced Tuesday this week, Americans gave $427 billion to charity in 2018, but that was a decline of about 2% when you factor in inflation. Interesting. I just like making sure people understand the number, just how much charitable giving, how much philanthropy goes on, because it's something about people with money that can afford to tithe, although everybody can afford to tithe, right? That's the purpose of tithing, as a percentage of what you make. Number two, it gives lie to this idea that, if the government doesn't fund it, meaning taxpayers who have their money forcibly extracted by the government for repurposing, if we don't fund something that way, well, it doesn't get funded. You can fund a lot of things through private action, and $427 billion worth of private action. So it's interesting to note. Here's something else that's interesting to note. Giving, charitable giving, and attendance at religious services have a high correlation. So with the non-affiliation numbers going up and attendance at church going down, there's a probable cause that the actual practice of giving is going down. Imagine that. People who have faith are more likely to give than those who don't. Yeah. Boy, that shouldn't come as a surprise, but I'm sure it does.
They teach you that in the Bible.
That's another...
Tell others about giving and being generous, sharing.
It's another effect of the increasing secularization that I think goes unconsidered by most. And so instead, people waste money buying $5 cups of coffee. Good piece in the Wall Street Journal. This interview with a guy named David Bach, who's a wealth manager, and he's written several books on finances, how people waste money. Biggest waste of money.
And what is that? Biggest waste of money is?
Well, there's the categories, like a big house is a waste.
Oh, don't you know it?
People still in the mode of thinking about houses, that's kind of 19th century. As we modernize, we don't need all this space. For example, we don't need elaborate kitchens because we have all the kinds of delivery services for food. Maybe you don't need a workshop in your basement. You used to have a filing cabinet for your tax information, but it's all electronic, so you don't need that either. Bookshelves for people who read a lot. We have e-books now, so we don't need bookshelves and such anymore.
Oh, I still need bookshelves. But I used to live in a huge house. It was so stupid. Extra bedrooms that I never went into, bathrooms I never used. It was just dumb.
That's the big houses observation from Robert Schuller, Nobel Prize-winning economist from Yale. The coffee observation.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm guilty on the weekends.
That's David Bach, and here's how it adds up. What you would save annually if you didn't spend $3.50 daily on coffee?
You know what? I don't even know if I want to know this.
It's $1,200. And over 30 years, if you invested the money monthly and earned an annual 5% return, $85,000. Bottled water, what you would save annually if you didn't spend $1.50 a day for bottled water, about $550, which turns into $36,000 over 30 years if you invested the money monthly and earned an annual return of 5%, which is
Just
not unreasonable.
one of those aluminum containers.
Yeah. So if you start going to church a little bit more and you stop drinking coffee and water at, with all your other activewear ladies at the local Joe shop, then maybe you'd be a little bit happier, a little bit more giving, providing a little bit more of a glide path to heaven, and you'd be richer on top of it.
Wow. All right. Drop mic. I'm going home.
I don't even know why we need Hoenig after that dissertation from me, but for more on the range of topics, macro and micro, we're pleased to be joined by the founding member of the Capitalist Pig Hedge Fund, Fox News contributor, and author of the book, A New Textbook of Americanism, The Politics of Ayn Rand, Jonathan Hoenig. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, my pleasure. Great to be with you, and I enjoyed your diatribe there. And we are, I'll just add, if I could, look, we are a charitable nation. That's great. But keep in mind, before money can be given away, it has to be created. And, that, in my mind, is who really to celebrate. It's the innovators. It's the entrepreneurs. It's the, capitalists. I know that's not a bad word on this station, thank God, but it's the capitalists who bring that wealth into creation. They're the heroes of the economy, oftentimes the uncelebrated heroes. They're the ones pushing the market to a new high, a new all-time high.
You mean like the recently minted billionaire who created Slack?
That's right. I mean, Slack is this brand new technology. It came public yesterday in a pretty novel IPO, Dan. They tried to essentially cut out the middleman, if you will, the underwriters, the investment bankers that often stand between a public listing of a new company and its ultimate shareholders. So they came public, and the stock immediately shot up about 50%. And, their kind of tagline, Dan, is they're trying to eliminate email, specifically within offices and groups and work environments. And they're getting a real great response, which is kind of surprising, just given the context here. I mean, we're in the midst now of a year-long trade war. In fact, just yesterday, companies ranging from Apple to Dr. Pepper to Dollar Tree petitioning the Trump administration to basically end this trade war. They're saying that it's going to push up their costs, push down their profits. And we've also got, a near missile strike or a near strike on Iran. The president, as was reported, called off a strike, a retaliatory strike on Iran this morning, and markets could be down a little bit because of that. But the American economy, Dan and Amy, continues to chug on thanks to those entrepreneurs, and they're the ones that are keeping us going.
Well, there's a lot there. Let's go back to Slack, though. What is that? All they do?
Is what all they do?
It is.
The app, yeah.
The app,
they
right.
have created this, what has become the de facto workplace chat tool that allows companies big and small to interface, to share information. And Amy, if you want to look at what's been powering the economy, particularly in the last 5 and 6 years, it hasn't been steel makers or automakers or it has been these new technology companies that are changing the way that we communicate and interface, particularly in the workplace environment. The so-called CRM companies in particular have been very strong. Oracle just hit an all-time high yesterday. So, that's where the action is, this new innovation that's changing the workplace, and that's why Slack has gotten such a great debut.
Market Watch had this interesting piece about the amount of annual income you need to have squirreled away to retire comfortably, sort of state by state. The most expensive state, not surprisingly, probably where I'll retire, Hawaii.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You'll get island fever, though, and you want to get off.
I don't think so. I'm going to be, maybe it's going to be me and Larry Ellison on Lanai. That's it. And then Illinois comes in sort of middle of the pack at about 60 grand. But that's assuming a lot of things, arguendo, that I wouldn't assume, like not taxing retirement income in Illinois, but 60 grand to retire comfortably in Illinois if you want to stay here and continue to get your brains beat in by politicians.
Yeah, and Dan, that's what's so sobering is that's a number that's only gonna go up. And as you said, that number ranges from to retire comfortably, you need about $110,000 in Hawaii. I know you've got that easy in the bank. In Illinois, it's, as you said, Dan, just about half that. But it just makes the point of why now, especially now, in my opinion, saving and planning and thinking long term is so important. I mean, Dan and Amy, there's some worrisome signs out there. Consumer debt now is higher today than it was before the financial crisis back in 2008. It's really exploded, not only student loans, but also credit cards. So people are taking out more and more money. They're living on the come, if you will, more and more than they have at any point in the last 10 years. Even in real estate, we're seeing now investors are making up the biggest percentage of home purchases at any point in 20 years. So, look, I don't want to be that Cassandra raining on the parade of what is a good economy, but now knowing the cost of retirement is a great time to take that step to, at the very least, start living beneath your means and squirreling some shekels away for the long term.
Well,
shekels,
yes.
Yeah, love it.
Grammar Ruth. But those shekels, I mean, how much do you think we should, of the percentage of our paycheck that you think we should be setting aside or putting in our savings or in something?
Well, I think it starts with the mentality. I mean, most people think of saving, Amy, as, it's almost like going to the gym. If you go once, It doesn't make a difference. It needs to be habitualized. And some of the techniques, Dan, I think that you were outlining just a moment ago, just observing our daily spending and how much goes to the things that literally lose their value the moment that we put them, and how much can be created if we just begin to let that miracle of compound interest earn. So, Amy, for most people, they quite simply spend more than they make. That's the problem. That's why they carry around that $5,000 and $7,000 worth of credit card debt. So look, make this your summer project. Look good in a swimsuit. Okay, that's maybe an achievable goal.
Me too.
Dan,
already
but
done.
Also, more importantly, just pay down that credit card. Make that your summer goal to start. The fall credit card free, and at least stop giving that 10, 12, 15% of Visa and MasterCard month after month. There's no point in saving as long as you're carrying that noose around your neck.
It is giving me pause to reflect on the amount of money I spend on greens fees, golf, essentially.
Right.
If I didn't spend any money on golf,
you'd be a rich man.
I would basically be in the Bill Gates category.
Oh, yeah, right.
I would be somewhere between Gates and Buffett.
You know what you guys should do? What my friend and I do, if we ever pay, not if, but when we pay off credit card debt, we celebrate it. We'll text each other like, I paid off a credit card, woo, and then, just...
And then
somebody holds you accountable, and that's celebrate.
And then your friend reminds you, hey, you still got 2 college educations to pay for. Don't celebrate anything, toots.
Dan, look, you love golf. You value golf. It improves your life. And as a financial advisor, I would never say, oh, cut down. That's why you earn money to enjoy it. I think the idea is just to be a little more conscious about where those everyday expenses goes. I mean, something as simple, for example, as cutting the cord on cable. Many people hesitate to make those types of long-term changes. You make a change like that, as you said, Dan, it's 12, 15